dis? Bon, je t'amène la pizza.
From darkness to light, welcome to Paris after 6 months in India. I'm going to tell you quickly why I changed my YouTube channel from Easy Bhakti to Defiltered. Hey, welcome to Defiltered. My name is Cyril or Chandra. Greetings from Paris. If you're into spirituality, reincarnation, Indian philosophies, karma, devotion, God, then please do subscribe to this channel because there aren't that many channels like this out there on YouTube. Today happens to be Janmashtami. For those of you who are from India, you know what that means. It's the appearance day of God in this world, the appearance of Lord Krishna. And I'm actually going to the Yoga Lyrique, little yoga center where we do a lot of kirtans to celebrate the appearance of Lord Krishna. I feel actually pretty happy to be back in France. I spent 6 months in West Bengal and I love Mayapur. Mayapur is the place of Lord Chaitanya. It's full of love of God, I believe. It overflows with devotion. But you know, at the end of the day, I'm French or Franco-American and I just feel comfortable in France, you know what I mean? So a couple of days ago, right, a couple of you wrote to me or wrote comments on my last video and you were asking why are you calling your channel Defiltered? Tu veux dire quelque chose de sympa, ouais?
Yes. Comment?
Dis quelque chose de sympa en anglais.
En anglais? Welcome to Mo. Comment dire bonne journée?
Have a good day. Have a good day.
Have a good day.
So as I was saying, some of you guys asked like, why is it that you changed your channel name from Easy Bhakti to Defiltered? Now, if you're from India, if you're from a Hindu background, you know what the word Bhakti means, right? And this channel really is about Bhakti, about devotion to Krishna, no doubt. But if you're not from India, and that means basically, you know, 90+% of the people who could be watching this video, you don't know what the word Bhakti means. And it's like, easy Bhakti? Like, what does Bhakti mean? You know what I mean? I'm filtered. As a conscious being, I'm filtered by a human, male, white, Franco-American body, right? And therefore, it's just normal that other Franco-European, American, white bodies tend to be kind of attracted towards me and me towards them. It's just a natural attraction. Gujaratis hang out with Gujaratis, you know, South Indians hang out with South Indians, Mexicans hang out with Mexicans. I'm saying this because my target audience on this YouTube channel is everybody, but the fact is I really want to target the audience that's kind of close to my kin. People outside of Hindu India don't know about the Bhagavad Gita. By the way, if you don't know what the Bhagavad Gita is, the Bhagavad Gita is the most famous text of ancient Indian philosophy, and I always quote it on this channel. So everyone basically knows what the word defiltered means, right? Taking away filters. Now, defiltering implies also something or someone that is being defiltered, right? And here I want to talk briefly about William James. William James, the father of modern American, or at least modern psychology, we could say. William James is a really big, important figure in the world of the sciences today, especially among those scientists who have a leaning towards believing that consciousness is not material, that consciousness is irreducible, that consciousness is not just simply a product of neurons and protons, you know, those scientists who are non-physicalists. And so William James already, you know, 100 and more so years ago, had this theory of defiltering. He believed that consciousness is the real thing and that consciousness is filtered by different material things like our mind and so on. So in the Bhakti tradition, the tradition that I believe in and that I follow, you've got the same similar idea that the soul is the real self. We are souls, we are spiritual beings inside physical bodies. And so in that sense, using that terminology, the physical body is really kind of like a filter. And so the whole goal of life, as I mentioned in my last video that you can, you know, click right here about what the goal of life is, as I mentioned in that video, human life, I believe, is meant to reawaken one's original consciousness, to take away the filters, so to speak, that are keeping us from understanding our real, true spiritual self and our true eternal relationship with God. So that's why I chose Defiltered, because Defiltered everyone can sort of understand. It's not Sanskrit, it's not Hindi, it's English, everyone understands. And it's implied, as you know, you watch more and more of these videos, that the defiltering process leads one to realize one's original spiritual identity. What's more is that I believe that once you defilter your consciousness, what you have left is personality, pure personhood. That's why I always talk about personalism as opposed to monism. The idea that, you know, you remain a real individual person, as opposed to believing that, you know, you just become some sort of white light where you just kind of merge into some boring corporate effulgence. So that's the reason behind Defiltered. Now let's go to the Yoga Lyrique and do some chanting of God's names, because after all, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, today is the birthday of Lord Krishna. In other words, it's the birthday of someone who many believe, including me, is now, as far as the video intro, one of you said that you liked the former video intro to the one that I have now. Now the thing is, I don't feel comfortable with that intro. I'll tell you why, especially that first shot. The shots that come later are cool. There's a picture of my initiating guru, there's a picture of my favorite, you know, instructing teacher, there's a picture of Lord Chaitanya, there's a picture of, or a graffiti that I actually participated in making, of Srimati Radharani, the internal potency of the Supreme Lord. Sorry for the wind here, but I don't like that first shot because it's kind of pretentious. For one, it's just me coming out of the ocean, and by the way, that was part of a music video that never was published because it was just, I didn't like it. It was just too and so like I come out of the water with a statue of Krishna, right? But that doesn't make sense. If anything, it's Krishna who saves, like, say for example, there's a famous story of Krishna, the avatar of Vishnu or Krishna as the boar who saves Mother Earth from the ocean and saves her and brings her back up from the nether regions of their universe. But it's not that I save Krishna, but that's what this video shot portrays. I'm like kind of saving, quote unquote, Krishna from the water. But that's not what I believe. I believe it's the other way around. I believe that it's God who saves us from, you know, repeated birth and death, from the cycle of reincarnation and so on. So sorry if you don't like it, if you don't like the new one, but I'm just gonna stick to it for now. And anyway, the content of the video is what counts ultimately, right? What do you think of my explanation? Do you really like Easy Bhakti more, or you think Defiltered kind of makes sense now that I've explained it? Let me know in the comments. I'll try to answer, or I will answer. The channel's really not that big. Hare Krishna! Krishna, 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 Life is good, and remember, we are much more than our bodies and our minds.